Hello and welcome to Kaiserreich, where we will be trying to get the Right-KMT into power under Li Zongren. But right now we'll be playing as the League of the Eight Provinces before then. So starting off, we're going to start with the basic speed, and then I guess construction speed. I think I like construction speed more than production efficiency cap. Start, so we'll go with that. I do believe we'll be taking over here around this area, so we'll build there first. Around this general area, I hope so at least. If not, this will look pretty bad. Free dockyard, we'll get some convoys. And I think the Nanjing Army is the only thing we can do from the start. So the Nanjing Army, I'll just go ahead and start. Motivations and basic training. Let's see, there's a bunch of stuff. Do you want to read through all this? Sure we will. Central government. Let's just read about the Germans and the internal concerns. Alright, Germany's significant role in 1927 destruction of the Northern Expedition left Berlin with a great deal of leverage in China, tempered only slightly by the 1920 International Shanghai Conference, which claimed to give all nations equal access to the Chinese market. In order to ensure a favorable position in spite of these restrictions, German officials proposed a series of agreements with Field Marshal Sun Shunfeng and our constituent governors. By sidestepping both international agreements and Beijing's authority, German strength helps hold together the League and maintain autonomy from Wu Peifu's northern Zili, in exchange for an ever-increasing spread of German influence. This arrangement has gradually lost its luster as German control grows and the people watch for its laborers lie in the pockets of generals and foreigners alike. Many have come to a conclusion its necessity. The future of the League's relationship with Germany may need to be considered going forward. Brief me on internal concerns. German influence and somewhat decentralized nature of the League has often led to localized unrest, and though this has often quickly been dealt with, it can be seen indicative of a greater malaise. The League has pestered by numerous forces, and though they may be seen as no threat, they must not be allowed to escape control. A number of KMT holdouts, remnants of failed Northern Expedition in 1926 and the second Uprising in 1932, remain just outside our reach in the mountains of Fujian and the major coastal concessions. Yingando adherents, committed to expunging foreign influences and returning China to its long traditions, have been moving south from Shandong and making inroads among the eastern provinces. To the south, Guangdong and Guangxi, together referred to as Liangguang, as well as Hunan, operate de facto autonomy and may even harbor ambitions of formal independence. All will have to be watched closely. The League will endure. Should take a look. So with his governors, League Marshal Sun Cheng-Huang met today with the governors of the 5 eastern provinces who the public have been told discuss matters of regular governance and administration. The rice crop in Xizing has been poorer than expected, said Governor Deng Rizhou. It's important that taxes are adjusted properly to compensate. The absence of officials from Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hunan, as well as the presence of pro military figures like General Qi Ziyan, has led to some to believe the meeting actually consider more serious matters of state security. Interesting. Let's see. Guangxi, I can't see it. It's probably around here. Probably good. Assassination of Kerensky. So this is definitely going to be a very strongly anti-German playthrough. Okay, today marks the long-planned opening of Zigan Railway, the latest extension to which finally connects Shanghai to Nanjing, a city deep in the Guangxi province. The opening is noteworthy for a few reasons. First among them, prominent involvement of Chinese engineers in the construction, despite significant funding by the Ostrat der Ost, I can't pronounce that, also known as the AOG, which has turned the work into something of a cause celebrate. Those less optimistic have been quick to point to the AOG's newfound access to rich mineral deposits, as well as the Jingdizhen porcelain, which has been able to fetch high prices in Berlin. Despite concerns, a threatened attack upon the opening ceremony by KMT agents did not take place. The railway brings prosperity. Unexpected announcement late this morning says President the AOG publicly announced its plan to purchase and consolidate a number of Eastern Railways on behalf of the can't pronounce that, sorry. One of its component concerns among them was the new Shanghai Railway. AOG already possesses controlling shares in a number of lines across eastern China, several of which is directly financed with this ash as the hopes that they believe the new railway might present a more equal future for Germans and Chinese. While Chinese management will be permitted to remain, they will now answer to German Directory Board. Though scarcely admitted to the public, few authorities in the League seem to have been forewarned of the development, and police response to protests have been slower than normal. Spreads and surprising consolidation of the Central China Railway under AOG management met with widespread criticism. Intellectuals have condemned the move in domestic papers, followed by prominent Anglo-American publications out of Shanghai, and echoed by syndicalist parties. Periodics found on factory floors more troubling over the news spread rapidly by word of mouth and has grown all the more outrageous and grotesque in their progress. Tales now describe extensive webs of conspiracy, disappearances of outspoken individuals, whose transfer of millions of yuan into the League Marshal's own pockets. Public reaction has been predictably furious, and protests have already spread from Zhejiang and Yuzhai to the major clusters, including foreign settlements. The peasants have nothing better to do. Attacks on foreigners, beginning with assaults on citizens and having grown to become virtually indiscriminate. Attacks on foreigners by emboldened patriotic citizens are spreading like wildfires. The German consulate in Nanjing has advised the Kaiser's subjects to arm themselves and travel only when necessary. The consulates of most other nationalities may soon follow suit. The impact of these attacks on business and investments remain to be seen, but recent history suggests the Shanghai Stock Exchange will not remain unaffected. Boycotts in Beijing. Talks of boycott German goods have accompanied growing protests throughout eastern China, provoked by the assortment of KMT agents, religious cultists, and nationalist ideologies. But disturbingly, some local garrisons have stepped back and allowed the unrest to go, unwilling to risk being labeled Hanjin or race traitors. In order to ward off intervention from Beijing, advisors from the Nanking Commission have suggested that the League Marshal Sun publicly declared the situation is under control. Elements of several divisions based in Nanjing seem ready to be deployed to cities along the lower Yangtze, where protests were largest and provincial garrisons can be given the green light to take whatever action they deem necessary to quell the open dissent. Use maximum force, punish only the violent. Let's go with punish only the violent. Totalist Charter, railway bombings, skip that. Okay, troubling reports have reached Nanjing from both Zhuhao and Guangzhou. In the Jianghu insurgent zone, KMT guerrillas have staged a series of increasingly bolder raids, striking around the inland cities of Yongding and Longyan. Governor Zhou Yinren had long struggled to assert control over his mountainous province, with control often limited to the coast and larger inland cities, and now his grasp grows all the more tenuous. Meanwhile, in Jiangsu, Governor Zhang Zhan reports increased agitation by Yanggandao adherents, spreading over the borders from Shandong. These religious fanatics have been point of long-standing frustration for the governor, but their involvement may as well be the rising unrest. Might as well be encouraging the rising unrest. Telegram from Beijing. The telegram has been sent at the direction of Imperial Commissioner Wu Peifu, who sits at the Qing Army Minister and the undisputed head of the nation's central military apparatus. The message inquiries about the current chaotic state of affairs, clearly worded with the intent to force League Marshal Sun to admit some weakness or hardship. The central government, under Wu's direction, has repeatedly attempted to extend its direct authority south, but so far such efforts have been in vain. Our response must be careful and measured, demonstrating that we need no central government assistance to disperse these insurgents. Everything is under control. The Wuhu incident This afternoon, protests in the city of Wuhu, posted by striking workers from nearby German-owned factories, quickly escaped police control. The garrison itself, reinforced by a section of German-trained troops, Beijing attempted to restore order, but in the confused melee, someone started shooting. Within a matter of minutes, police, the garrison, and their reinforced troops began firing on the crowd and each other. 200 were already confirmed dead, with 4 times as many likely wounded, and the resultant outrage has already sparked protests in surrounding areas. The situation is made all the worse by the presence of small foreign settlement within the city. Many are already claiming lethal force was only used in order to protect these foreigners, and killing will most likely feature in international newspapers by tomorrow morning. Could things get any worse? Oh, please don't crash. There we go. We were able to train troops, which is good. I wonder who gets these troops. Do we keep any of them? Qing refuses to further cooperation. Citing the recent incident at Wuhu, Governor Chen Jiongming has issued an ultimatum calling for withdrawal of non-provincial forces from Anhui, as well as the immediate handover of those officers responsible. But Chen assures the League that his own soldiers will continue to quell the spreading out residents who refuses further cooperation with the League authorities, announces the creation of the Central China Railway, which he blames for pushing patriotic citizens to the edge of despair. In normal circumstances, behavior would be unacceptable. Chen's stance has already proven popular, and decisive action would serve to further divide the fragile League. We must bide our time. Black Monday, swirlings in France. How will we pay the troops? Not good. What would we do? North School. Probably South School. Since we are going to be planning on playing in the South. Dissension in the ranks. Words of suspended pay has already spread as far as the League's junior officers, and the reaction has been relatively negative. For some, this will mean an end to a lifestyle of vice and extravagance, at least for the time being. But for many common soldiers, it's the difference between life and starvation. The officer's grumbling is made all the worse by a small but vocal clique of officers sympathetic to Chen Jiongming's cause, arguing that the League should never have become so dependent on German handouts. In the barracks and in the street, soldiers are being riled up by young Guangdong's adherents seeking converts and preaching against foreign wickedness, while the KMT and other leftist groups hide in the shadows, disseminating propaganda announcing imperialist collaboration. Nothing has yet come out of these activities, but this one routine arrest is now threatening to undermine the very foundation of the League. And many of the troops have just mobilized. Okay. Chen Jiongming lies mortally wounded, shot from behind by an assassin disguised as a serving woman. His brave bodyguards were able to quickly overpower and imprison the woman, but rumors have already begun to spread and swirl. The captation of the League's only wildly organized leader is an unprecedented disaster. Unless he recovers soon, successor is unlikely to be chosen without considerable bloodshed. Without effective leadership, and political fragmentation is a little bit certain. The ongoing crisis will surely spin out of control. The League's fate lies in the balance. Who could be responsible? I wonder if we'll have control over if he dies or not. Telegrams have been flooding all morning, accomplished by the din of ringing telephones throughout the League Marshal's Palace, together describing a rapidly deteriorating situation across much of the League. No promises of pay, soldiers in League with no promise to pay soldiers in Zhengzhou, Nanchang, and Guangzhou, and several other cities are refusing to act or joining the spreading violence and looting, while police and garrisons in Guangzhou and Wuxi has gone on strike. Riots there and elsewhere are gradually escaping all semblance of control, all made worse by Sun Cheng's incapacity. Troubling telegram lines across Fujian appears to have been cut, leaving us entirely in dark as to the likely worsening situation in Guangzhou and Guangxi, ranging itself now practically in the throes of violent revolution. Riots reached the marshal's palace. The Nanjing police have been unable to contain any of the riots spreading across the capital, and officers lie, defect, or sit idle, and onlookers join the chaos, looting and burning homes, businesses, and now government offices. The hastily arrived military units under the command of Governor Qi Jian, already deployed nearby, seems enough to protect the marshal's palace, but the roar of flames and the burgeoning crowds are audible even within the chambers of where Sun Cheng lies deep in a coma. The threats fleeing from the sinking ship officials have been observed scurrying away into back streets and alleys, arms burdened by silver coins, papers, and perhaps even government seekers. What are we to do? Uprising in Fujian. Right. KMT rebels already fomenting insurrection across the League have begun. General uprising in Fujian province, emerging from the mountains to seize a number of villages in the province's interior. The Zhenghu insurgent zone was already known to be in danger, but in the chaos now gripping the League, there is every possibility that it will cut path to the coast, opening the way for aid to the Sinokless allies. The present Governor Zhao Yan is known to have several divisions in and around Guangzhou, unlikely enough to stem the tide. Sinokless scum. General Qi assumes control following a closed meeting lasting nearly 4 hours. Xu Zhengzhou has emerged to declare himself acting League Marshal and promises to order to the fractured League. Already his forces have been asserting control over Nanjing's arsenal, military headquarters, and major thoroughfares. Broadcasting the news by megaphone, clearing the streets with inflades and wildfire cities. All under the orthodoxy has begun declaring for Qi, but communication several points have broken down. With Sun's condition determining he's unlikely to be an only acting field marshal much longer. A coup all in name. Right? And we'll fight them like normal. I don't want to throw it. Please don't crash. There we go. Cool. Ooh, Chen declares war. Right here, we'll have you guys actually create your own army. There you go. Governor. Oh, Governor Dane is killed. Okay. Not exactly what I wanted. General. Whoa, arrival of German weapons. General Shangan rises in Zigan. Fighting the abuses of superior Shang as we rallied the Hangzhou garrison and units under control's command to Chen's cause. Against Governor Chen Yi, the governor insulted after the removal of Lu Guanxing in 1932 has never been particularly popular among his men. We remained loyal to him for the Fortified Corps and awaiting reinforcements. Okay, so we lost this. Okay. Marshal Wu, Peifu, Bax, and Qing. Yes. Think, and here's, we'll actually skip through that because we can actually now do this. Silence from the south was broken this evening by declaration from Governor Chen Jiongming, speaking on behalf of both Guangdong and Guangxi Providence. They have together seceded from the League with immediate effect. The general denounced the League's disregard for the rights and needs of the people and singled out the acting League Marshal with special criticism, but stopped short of outright declaring hostilities. With Anhui province already openly insubordinate, this turn of events disasters in most cases will merit a response. This is received by way of telegraph from Hong Kong, which also reported the public humiliation and execution of numerous League officials in Hangzhou, but exact details remain scarce. Free China will start in Liangguang. And there we go. We are now no longer the League of Eight Provinces. Please don't crash. Alright, and I was building in the right place. I don't know if anything actually got built, but... Right, not exactly a good template, but I'll take it. Right, infantry leader. Take Majin for now. National focus. You don't want a Republican United Front. Probably want local support. Star. So let's read all of our effects. Increased factionalism. Yeah, that's not good. Anti-concessionist wave. Since divided military, we need to get rid of that. Guangxi's struggling economy. Is there any way to, let's get rid of our bad effect. The situation in Liangguang. With the League of Eight Providence falling into open warfare to secure Nanjing, Chen Jiongming, the governor of Guangdong, announced the immediate secession of the province from the League, denouncing the League as corrupt and unable to protect the rights and welfare of the people. It was followed suit by Governor Liu Ranting of Guangxi in the west, and accordingly the provincial assemblies of Guangdong and Guangxi, at a joint meeting in Guangzhou, elected Chen Jiongming as extraordinary Governor General of Guangdong. Two Guangs are united in defense against bandits and the ambition of warlords from the disintegrating League. The new union of provinces is already proving to be striking. The leaders of Guangdong and Guangxi are only united by pragmatism, the two having widely different aims for the region, let alone China as a whole. Li Zongren leads a highly militarized province, while Chen leads a varied republic coalition and one of the few functioning democracies in all of China. Liangguang may avoid the bloodshed of the collapse of the League, but will not avoid the consequences of Beijing's failure to keep China fairly united. Governor Chen will see us through. Tell us about Liangguang. Alright. Liangguang, or the Two Guangs, is a geographical term representing the provinces of Guangxi in the west and Guangdong in the east. The viceroyalty of Liangguang was first created during the Ming Dynasty, but would be dissolved and reformed numerous times until its final dissolution in 1911. The official name was the lengthy Governor General Commander and Quartermaster Supervisor of Waterways and Inspector General of the two expanses and surrounding areas. Guangdong Province is one of the most wealthy and developed parts of China, with Guangzhou rivaling Shanghai, Nanjing, and Beijing. However, its recent history is marred with warfare and destruction, with the province losing Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangxi to Western imperialists in the 19th century, with the Xinhai Revolution eventually brought further ruin to the numerous wars between the warlords and turbulent rule of the KMT. Since the failure of the Northern Expedition in 1926, the province has been governed by Chen Jiongming and has seen remarkable recovery and growth, developing a young provincial democracy in the process. Guangxi, meanwhile, has been ruled by Li Zongren, who is seen as the quintessential warlord. The province has been highly militarized and its soldiers well known across China to be some of the best. However, this level of militarization has been costly. The wealthier Guangdong has essentially keeping the Guangxi army afloat, creating intermediate relationship between two provinces, Guangxi soldiers often supplement the smaller Guangdong army. What about these factions? The Chen Jiongming currently leads a wide coalition of Republicans, the Grand Republican League. It contains numerous factions outside of its own political party. The Public Interest Party, or Zigan, was founded in 1925 by Chen Jiongming and his ally Tang Jiao. Its ideology can be compared to Western social democracy, wanting to improve civil and workers' rights throughout China. Mainly, however, it is the important Federalist Party in the country, calling for the central government to be organized as federal republics and multi-party democracy. The Productive People's Party, led by Chen Mingshu, is essentially a front organization for moderate left KMT in Guangdong. While also social democratic like the Federalists, they differ in the PPP's ideology. Philosophy is based on Sun Yat-sen's three principles of the people and his teachings. A major obstacle in working close with the Federalists is the bad history between the two parties' founders, who violently split before the Northern Expedition. While not a political party, the Merchants' Public Organization, the parliamentary organization of Guangzhou Chamber of Commerce, is highly influential. Led by Chen Labao, their main goal is to protect business and trade from bandits and irresponsible politicians. They have multiple ties with Hong Kong and German businessmen, making them a target of local anti-concessionists as the AOG struggles to recoup massive losses from Black Monday and the League's collapse. Guangxi Provincial Assembly is little but a rubber stamping one for the army. As such, there is little open opposition to the Guangxi Clique from political groups. The clique's main enemies currently hide in Yunnan and Li Zongren, patiently waiting for his chance to strike and retake the province for his own clique, aligned with the right wing of the KMT. And Governor Chen will see us through. We're gonna try to get better guns because we're literally using a sword right now. Non-aggression pact with Hunan. It's you guys, right? No. Oh, you. I will take it. The collapse of the League of Eight Provinces, United Provinces of Liangguang and Province of Hunan eventually drifted together in the face of potential retribution from Nanjing. Chen Jiongming and Zhao Hunting are both federalists, believing in the provincial and national constitutionalism and the importance of rule of law in these chaotic times. As such, the two have been cooperating since the dawn of the League in the first place, working together to secure the region's autonomy from Nanjing and consequently Beijing. Two governors have thus agreed to stay neutral in the conflict in the former League and focus inward instead. Very nice. Looks like the left KMT might fall. But then again, the League of Eight Province is not looking good. If I had to guess, the Qing Clique will be the group that's helped the most by this. With war and chaos raging from Shandong to Fujian due to the collapse of the League of Eight Provinces, Governor General of Liangguang Chen Jiongming made a speech at the Guangdong Provincial Assembly today addressing a number of issues facing the province. Chen assured the Assembly that neutrality in the conflict to the northeast was the only logical path forward. The stable and prosperous province of Guangdong needed to look inward and focus on improving the province and inhabitants' livelihoods. People need to show the rest of China that the provincial democracy and civilian government was a model to follow, forming a believable alternative to the monarchists in the north and the warlords without China and the false revolutionaries of the KMT. This was, Chen believes, the only way to bring peace and unite China to the long-term returns once and for all. Forward to a free China. Or maybe they won't. Shandong, Trade War, Nanjing. I thought they don't. Nanjing. Alright. Anti-concessionist. Alright, death of the Pope. Right. Anti-concessionist sentiments have run high in Guangdong ever since concessions were first created. Hong Kong, Macau, and most recently the German presence in Guangzhou are continuing visible symbols of national unity that remains very personal to the people of Guangdong and their province, which previously included these concessions. Black Monday shook the hatred German presence to its core. With the League now gone, their Chinese sycophants and puppets can no longer protect them. Inspired by the riots for the north, Guangzhou anti-concessionists made their own demonstrations in the city's German quarters, which quickly turned into riots. Local police turned a blind eye while several German businesses were damaged and German citizens was attacked and wounded. The situation was only calmed with the intervention of the merchant corps, which managed to disperse the demonstrators. Chen Jiongming, while calling for calm, openly sympathized with the anti-concessionists and criticized both the unequal treaties and Beijing's inactions. The bold statement was well received by the people. Some cannot shake the feeling that imperialist reprisals is already on the way. Let's hope it doesn't escalate. Alright, and with that, we have actually ran out of time. I was trying to read this real quick. As feared, German naval forces in the region launched a retaliatory strike on Guangzhou. Two stories entered Pearl River Delta, and after waiting a moment to show their flags, opened fire into the city. After firing the salvo, they remained in place for another moment before retreating back to the South China Sea. While damage to the city was relatively limited, the message was very clear. German presence in China remained. Should the Nanjing Clique, lapdog of the German imperialists, succeed in restoring order former league, we can only expect them to have significant German support and try to retake Guangxi and Guangdong. They will pay in time. We lose anti-concessionist wave. Let's see, alright, with that gone, we are going to actually end the episode now. It's unfortunate we weren't able to get them in power. I think, yes, it'll be New Guangxi Clique, which will be the political party will be going for. The authoritarian Democrats. The goal of it will be, of course, to reunite China, and we're also going to try to kick the Germans, and if we can, the other Europeans out of Asia in general. But I'm not sure if this series is going to go on that long. I don't want to commit to anything when I don't know how long just reuniting China will take. But with that said, if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.